Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Check. What up, world? It's the man with the plan, Burt McGurk, aka PR, the King of Hearts, and you are now tuned into Clocking Out, the podcast you listen to when you need to get motivated and inspired to doing bigger and better things. What is going on, everybody? It's the man with the plan here, Burt McGurk, aka PR, the King of Hearts. How you doing? How you living? How you been? So I kind of messed up on myself. I want to hold myself accountable because I was supposed to stream every day, or at least I even said it since the beginning of this little challenge of mine that I was going to do it at least Monday through Friday. And I didn't do it just because of 4th of July. It was a pretty busy day, you know, setting things up, spending time with family and all that, and a lot of up and down. So I wasn't really here. I did manage to record some stuff. I'm looking to make a video out of it. It's just a lot of the content from that was a little mixed of this and that, and you know, it just everything was all over the place. And you know, I just wanted to actually properly dedicate time to things that, you know, I should dedicate time to, like friends and family, and you know, just spending time and trying to create new memories and have a good time, you know. And yeah, so we did that. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. Why does it sound like echoey for some reason? I don't like that. It's the mic. There we go. At least I hope so. We got the fan on in the back. It's hot as balls today. So, all right, so I didn't stream on. Why does it? I don't like how it does that weird sound. What is going on, buddy? So I didn't stream on the 4th of July, and I had a whole bunch of stuff set up for that. I wanted to switch things up a little bit, with the stream and the podcasting and everything like that. We are working on setting up episodes with some new guest speakers. I am talking to Jolly Jacko to see if we can get Jolly up on here again. I've also been eyeing to talk to a friend of mine, Brian, who's an owner of an MMA gym, Long Island MMA. He's also a trainer there and a coach, you would say. And he has a lot of talented fighters that I would like to come up on here and share a little bit about themselves as well. So, you know, those are just a few things. Also, for everyone who participated and claimed their POAPs last week or over the weekend, thank you very much. I'm happy because I only had a specific amount of links for people to claim, and everyone that I sent the link to managed to. There is some trouble. I think that it doesn't count for some reason, or it doesn't come up as it's claimed. If it's just sitting in the email, it still wants you to make a wallet. I got to figure that out, because I know there's a handful of people that were using emails that don't have a digital wallet yet. They're still new to that. So we're going to find a way to properly onboard people. But those are just a few things that happened over the weekend and everything. Originally, I was supposed to live stream on Friday, which was 4th of July. I hope everyone had a great and safe 4th of July. I had a live stream set up for that day, basically called Freedom to Clock Out. And, you know, the whole theme was just, you know, creative freedom, you know, working for yourself, and, you know, the whole 4th of July hot takes on side hustle versus survival culture and things like that. And it didn't happen. So we're going to do it today. And I think it actually fits today. So we're just going to ask some like random questions, try to switch things up a little bit. I'm going to take this long form. If anyone's in the chat and you participate and you answer and anything like that, I'm going to add it into the clips also as well. If you participate in any of the clips, reels, shorts, what is it? It's clips, reels, and shorts that are related to this week's episode, you get to claim a POAP. What do I mean by that? This is going to be a long form live stream. You can come into the live stream. You can interact with us in the chat in the live stream. You can participate by answering questions that we ask openly. You can put in your 2 cents. You can share a story. Anything along that brings value and that adds to the conversation, that's considered participating in the live stream. Interacting with each other in the chat, that's participating in the live stream. That's one way you can claim. let's say you don't make it to the live stream. How is it that you can have your chance to claim? Well, throughout that week, we'll be sharing content related to the live streams of that week. If you interact or you share any of that content that is related to that present week of any live streams or podcast episodes that we did, as long as you interact with any content related to that week's live stream and podcast, you are eligible to claim also as well. Now, if you are a paid subscriber, that gives you another POAP, but it's a totally different POAP that has an advantage over the regular one. If you go on to clockingout.net and you make a purchase of an item, of any item, doesn't matter whether it's the V1s or if it's the Proud to Pay line, you will get, I think the Proud to Pay line, we have a specific one for the Proud to Pay line because the Proud to Pay line is a little bit more expensive. And it's because, Proud to Pay. But for the V2s and the above average line, which is part of the Proud to Pay, I believe that's another POAP. That's a third one. So whether you're a paid subscriber on any of our social media platforms, or whether you go online and you support us by making a purchase of any merchandise and you show us the proof of that, and either we have the form on the website, you go on there, and for you to claim, it's going to ask you specific information. You fill everything out, you provide us with the necessary information. We'll be able to double check it on our end, and once everything is checked off, you're good to go. We'll be distributing POAPs at the end of every week. So you literally have all week, you have an opportunity to participate in some way, shape, or form so that you can claim one POAP at the end of that week. We're giving you 5 opportunities of 5 live streams, not even just 5 opportunities. You can either join a live stream that week, you can either interact with any of the content that we share related to the live streams of that week. Okay, you can share it, you can comment on it, you can like it, anything like that. That shows proof. But you must be following us. That's a big thing. You must be following us. You must be a follower or subscribed or something. That gets you a POAP. If you're a paid subscriber, if you go on to clockingout.net and you make a purchase of any kind, that gives you also a second level of a POAP. If you are a Proud to Pay customer and you're a paid subscriber and all that stuff like that, that gets you also a tier 3 POAP. All these POAPs have different advantages. All of them are access tokens, either to raffles, giveaways, discount codes for exclusive merch drop that's coming out. And each merch drop is going to have utility. If you buy specific merch and you go online and you share a post that you've received your package, you can tell us you hate it, you like it, whatever it is. You can post a picture of it, you tag us, you put it up. Whether it's good feedback, bad fit, whatever it is, feedback is feedback, and we're still growing, we're still learning, so we appreciate it. As long as you show us and you post something about it and tag us, that will get you a POAP also as well. So we have a whole bunch of different ways that we want to utilize POAPs, and the whole thing is basically it's not only to just show proof of you participating, but it's also like it's like a ticket stub, it's like a stamp, it's like a thing in time where it goes to show that you participated and you were part of something in the early stage of clocking out. We feel like that's something that can go on and live forever on the blockchain. That's also a good way, we feel like, is introducing people into NFTs, into crypto, into digital wallets, which I think is going to be a major part in everyone's future. So little things like that, we're just trying to show other independent artists or other people in general of what they can do to support each other, what they can do to better themselves by taking advantage of these technologies and all this stuff like that. So there's many different reasons why we chose to go this route. But again, if you go to our website, if you go to our Instagram, if you go to our X, YouTube, whatever, you'll see posts all over the place that if more people, if more supporters, if more followers, if more subscribers participate in these virtual events, in these POAP challenges of collecting and, doing a certain tasks so that they can qualify to claim, the more people that participate, the bigger and better the prizes will be. All right. So let's get it started. So we were supposed to do something on the 4th of July. I was supposed to start this live stream a half hour ago. I was coming through some issues. I was complaining the last few days about the green screening effect and all this, and it comes out that's something that StreamYard is actually working on. So it wasn't me. It's actually an issue that they're having. Shout out to the one viewer who's always on here ghosting. I have no idea who you are, but I appreciate you. Good looking out. I wish it told me specifically, but unless you comment or something, I don't know. But I see you. I see you. You're always the first one here. I'm pretty sure it's always the same person. But anyway, so let's get it started. Red, white, and broke. That's what we're going to call this segment. Red, white, and broke. What's more American? Fireworks or a side hustle? Now, hear me out. I believe I'm a fan of 4th of July. I love the fireworks. I love the barbecues. I love the excuse to just spend time with family and create new memories and whatnot and just have a good time. It's like a traditional thing. Whether you get real deep into the whole reason behind 4th of July and the actual, like, you know, historical stuff and facts behind it, I'm not talking about that. It's the same with Christmas and Easter. I'm really not trying to get too deep into it, but I just look at it as a tradition to have an excuse to stop and drop everything that you're doing to spend time with family and loved ones, right? And it's always from a place of love and caring, and, you know, and 4th of July is one of those days to me. 4th of July is right there next to Christmas, in my opinion, because there's no other time that you really have an excuse to get with people, or Thanksgiving, you know. Yeah, there's gifts and stuff on Christmas, and that's like the I think what a lot of people sometimes focus on. But then when you get older, you realize it's about spending time with each other. And I feel like the 4th of July is just another time, along with Christmas and Thanksgiving, that gives people the opportunity to really just, you know, surround themselves with, you know, family, friends, loved ones. And I love things like that. I love having the excuse to do that, especially now that I'm older. You know, we get caught up in responsibilities and working and whatnot and having that hustle. But at the same time, I also feel that a side hustle is something that you have to have in America. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is always talking about America being the number one just country in the world to come and make your dreams come true. You know, and it's also the same for New York. I live in New York. They say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Well, I'm gonna tell you this: New York is a nice place, but I feel like it's like a visiting spot that if you get here and you stay too long, you get stuck. But I really don't feel like New York is as glamorous as people like to say. You know what I'm saying? I take pride in being a New Yorker, but at the same time, I feel like what a lot of people envision or believe New York is, or believe what living in New York is, it's really nothing like that. You know? But then again, that's what anything. I'm pretty sure anyone that lives anywhere else could say that about us, thinking about what it's like in Florida, or what it's like in New Jersey, or what it's like in, you know what I'm saying, like certain places. Like, I'm pretty sure we can all just assume like, oh, I think it's like this, either by the name or by what we see on social media. But at the end of the day, like, we really don't know what we don't know, you know? So unless we really there and we spent months and weeks and we really been in and out of the trenches in that area, it's like we really can't talk and say anything about that place besides how our experience was from going and visiting or whatnot. But back to the question, I was getting off a little off topic and rambling. What is more American, fireworks or side hustles? For this one, I'm going to choose side hustles, because even without a side hustle, I don't even think the 4th of July would happen, because a big part of 4th of July is fireworks. And a big part of fireworks being in the hands of normal, everyday people has to do with the people who have a side hustle selling some fireworks, you know what I'm saying, out the bodegas and out the trunk of their car, and you know what I mean? So without the side hustle, I don't believe that we would have things like the 4th of July where we would have fireworks and be able to celebrate and stuff. You know what I mean? Let's be real. Side hustle is what makes America tick. It's what makes it run. It's the blood of America. Side hustle and just hustling in general. That's just, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. A lot of people hear hustle and they think like you're getting jukes to something, like you're getting played or you're getting taken for an idiot. That's not always what it is. Like, yeah, that's someone hustling you, but being a hustler and you hustling with your time and you hustling with your skills and your energy and your mind and, you know, your knowledge and what you know, and using it to leverage what you don't have, and you taking advantage of that to put yourself in a better situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by having a hustle. And having a side hustle is just creating something that makes whatever your efforts are putting into it, it multiplies it, whether it's in connections with people that you wouldn't have had otherwise, or whether it's in the knowledge and experience that you're gaining from it, or whether it's financially from what you're putting into it and what's coming out of it. You know, that's basically what your side hustle is. Your side hustle is it's what you do on the side from your normal 9 to 5 day-to-day job and grind that, you know, is going to help you have that leg up from the competition, or just in general have that leg up on life where it's going to get you where you're trying to go. That's what I mean by side hustle. And a lot of people sometimes get that confused with some other stuff, you know, slang terminology wise. But when it comes to that one, I believe it's side hustle. What's more American, fireworks or side hustles? And I believe side hustle wins that one. Everyone has to have a side. It's America, bro. It's America. America. All right. If you had to clock in for a job on the 4th of July, what job would it be? What job would it be? And would it be worth it? Out of all the jobs that I've always had, I've always tell people the same thing. My favorite job that I've ever had was working at a movie theater. I worked at a movie theater. I wasn't even supposed to be working at a movie theater because I was underage, but I went and I did something with like working papers, and I made it seem like it was cool for me to work, and it worked. I went and they gave me a job. They were giving me checks. I went and I opened a bank account. I had a savings account and shit like that. I was putting my money in and I was working. And then not even after like, what was it, like 3-4 months or some shit, I became supervisor. Also, I was the youngest supervisor. I wasn't supposed to start working there until 15 or something like that. And I started at 14. And the working papers were supposed to be for people that were 15 getting a job that was required for them to be 16. And the working papers would let you work those jobs. So what I did is I made it seem like it was that, but literally, in all honesty, I shouldn't have been working. I was a year too young, but it worked. I don't know. I did it. I was there for, I would say, 2 years. Yeah, around 2 years. And working at the movie theaters, out of all the other jobs I've had, and I've literally done everything. I've worked in fast food. I've worked in the kitchen. I've worked as a line cook. I've worked as a dishwasher. I worked as a prepper. I've worked as a busboy, a waiter, a greeter. I've done deliveries. I've worked in factories. I've done shipping and receiving. I've housekeeping, like anything that you could think of. I've done retail. I've done everything, whether it's Target, Walmart, Best Buy. What else? Like I've done all that, all the food places. Best Buy. Best Buy. I said Best Buy. You know, Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, McDonald's, Checkers, all of them. I've done everything. And out of all the jobs that I've ever had, the number one job that I really enjoy the most, that I would say is the most, not only the most fun, the most educating, and it didn't feel like work whatsoever, was working at the movie theater. But I have to say it must have been a great part of it was the people I was working with. And a majority of the people I was working with were my friends. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't become mad cool with the people that all excuse me, if I didn't become mad cool with the people that were already working there, I had a few of my friends that were looking for work, and I was already supervisor, so I put them on and I had them on there. You know, I loved it. Hey, what's going on, Sophie? Thanks for tuning in. We got Sophie over here from Kick jumping in the chat. But yes, I worked at a movie theater. So I think working at a movie theater, if they called me in on the 4th of July to go work at a movie theater, I think it'll be worth it. What sucks is on days like that, you can expect the theater to be a fucking mess, because a lot of families go and they bring their kids and they're always throwing stuff all over the place and garbage and whatnot. You know, sometimes you get lucky and you find some loose change, and you know what I mean, That's like the only benefit out of it. But other than that, you're really just going crazy cleaning up popcorn and stuff. There are tricks to cleaning it, and it's not hiding garbage. There's literally tricks to cleaning up the garbage exactly the way you're supposed to, and all the popcorn and everything that's left behind in a fast way. Like there's little things you could do if you're really a veteran in the game of the movie theater. But then again, a lot of technology has upgraded since then. So I know I'm pretty sure there's like automatic vacuum brooms or backpack things that they can use to speed up things compared to us just using push brooms back in the day. But if I had to choose a job to go work on or work at for the 4th of July, it would be working at a movie theater. All right, the next thing that we're going to do. What is mine? Yeah, sorry, I wrote these in a different way and I forgot that I'm reading it. All right, so what do you believe is the most overrated 4th of July food, tradition, or song? Let's do one of each. All right, so food, I don't know. When I think 4th of July, I'm thinking hot dogs and burgers. Yeah, I'm reading this, Sophie. What's going on? I just have a strong feeling you're gonna try to pitch me something. But you could give it a shot. What's going on, Sophie? I found that on Kick, I have a hard time getting like actual people. Sometimes people jump on and then it's they're trying to sell me overlays and like all this stuff. And I understand and I respect the hustle. I just I don't really need it at this time right now. But I'm doing good. A little disappointed in myself. I was supposed to do a stream on Friday, but I got a little caught up for the 4th of July. So I decided to hop on today and try to just catch up on a few things. You on Kick? What do you like better? You like Kick better or I mean, obviously you're on Kick, but I'm pretty sure you hop around other social media apps. So for the most overrated 4th of July food, tradition, or song, first let's start with food. When I think 4th of July, I'm thinking hot dogs and burgers. Hot dogs, burgers, chicken wings, some steak. It's not really traditional though. I just think that because that's like barbecue stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really know what else could. I think that's really it for like. They got like potato salad and but what's overrated? I would say the hot dogs and the hot dogs. The hot dogs are overrated. The hot dogs are overrated for the 4th of July. As far as traditions, I don't really know. I don't think there's nothing that's overrated for 4th of July traditions. I like everything. I even like when people are exaggerated with all the American flags and like the ones that they put it all over their car and they have it as shirts and pants and hats and sunglasses and you know what I'm saying, and boots and shoes and even that, like it doesn't bother me. Like I'm like, fuck yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like even the music, you know what I mean, all the traditional 4th of July music. I'm even trying to think of a song that I don't like and I can't. All of them when I hear them, a lot of the time remind me of Sandlot, the movie. And it gives me nostalgia. There's a lot of things about the 4th of July that gives me nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like think about it. That's like as a kid, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, those were like the days as a kid that you have those memories where you ran off with your cousins or your friends and you just got into stuff, you know what I mean, that your parents or nobody was really there around for, that you just created your own little memories, you know what I mean? And it made you into the person that you are today. So it's like a lot of those things that we do that are repetitive, even though they might seem, you know, like overrated or tiring, at the end of the day it doesn't matter. Like we could do it 1,000 times. It's the nostalgic feeling that we get. To us it's like the millionth time. To our kids it's like, oh my god, what is going on? And then, as they get older, like, I remember this was dad or mom or how they did, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I guess I want to make sure as a parent, it's my responsibility to make sure I give my kids that feeling, whether it's because they created memories themselves with their cousins and family and friends, or whether it's just one of those things like, damn, this reminds me of dad when we were younger and we had the 4th of July, or you get what I'm saying? So it's hard. That one's a hard one. That one's a hard one. I really don't think it's possible to have an overrated tradition or song. Yeah, I think the only thing I can say is hot dogs. Hot dogs need to go. I don't think we need hot dogs. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not a gobbler, a gizzy gobbler, but that's literally the only thing I could think of that needs to go is just hot dogs. I think we're good with just burgers. Burgers, you could put more stuff in it and make it like its own different. The more stuff you add to a burger, condiments or like toppings and stuff, it gives it its own like flavor. But a hot dog really is like, I don't know. All right, so what's the next one? What's more explosive, fireworks or burnout? Burnout was more explosive, 100%. Um, Again, we wouldn't have 4th of July fireworks without side hustles, and burnout is part of is part of having a side hustle. You're gonna burn out. You're gonna overwork yourself. You're gonna overthink. You're gonna stress, and it's just bound to happen. You're bound to put yourself in a position where you're gonna feel like you're not doing enough, and you're gonna try to push to do more, or you're gonna get to the point where you're comparing yourself too much to other people, and you're gonna try to keep up. And it's not until you get into those positions and put yourself in those situations that those positions, I shouldn't have said that. That's mute, pause, rewind. It's not until you get into those situations that you really see what you're up for. How many nights you can stay up without sleeping, how many, days you could go without eating lunch the right way or the right time, or you know what I'm saying? Like you just go from one thing to another, and you notice that there's these other people that either they can do it because they're used to it and they built up to it, or they make it seem like that because they have a proper team in place. And a lot of us tend to forget to do that when we're doing things like this. We get caught up in just trying to make content and record and put stuff out there, and we forget that it's not that easy to just record, edit, document, post, interact, share, and all we can't do that all by ourselves. I'm sweating like a motherfucker because it is hot. Anyway, if the government gave everyone $1,776,000 to quit their job today, what the fuck? That's not even, what type of a question is that? It's not even, I'm thinking it was like millions or some shit, and it's literally $1,776 to quit their job today and start a hustle. What would you do with it? Well, with $1,776,000, I put it into this. I put it into clocking out. If I was starting off, I'd go. If anyone, just like anyone else should, when you're starting off, you go and make sure you think of a name, you think of what you're trying to do, or at least you think of what you're trying to do first. If you're going to add value in some way, shape, or form, think of how you're going to add value. Think of how you're going to make this into a profitable business, because at the end of the day, they're making you quit your job. So you have to take this money and put it into something that's going to help multiply that money. Not just once, not just twice, but consistently, or just one time, very, very largely, and be able to live off that. So you would have to create something. And if you would create something, the same thing I always tell myself when I'm trying to make something, whether it's a product, service, brand, idea, whatever, I think of what the purpose behind it is, what it's going to solve. I need to solve a problem for someone of either doing a task faster, easier and better than they could by themselves or than anyone else can, or I got to give them a product that is better than whatever anyone else has. As far as like if the quality's better, if it looks better, if it tastes better, it's cheaper, they could get it faster, it lasts longer, things like that you have to think of when you have a product or a service or anything like that. Your service, how good is your service? Are you on time? Are you accurate? Why is it better than the next person? Why should they go to you? Like, what value are you providing that person in whatever it is that you're giving or you're creating? And the only reason you have to think like that is because of the fact that that's the only thing that's going to continuously bring you more money, where you don't have to worry about working again. And we're right here. That's the question, right? Of what would we do if the government gave everyone $1,776,000 to quit their jobs and start a side hustle, or just start a hustle in general? What would it be? And that's the route that I would go for it. I would think about that first. I try my best to figure out how I could provide them with whatever it is by costing me the least amount, so I can give them the best price to keep them coming back, but also keep it consistent enough where I can make a living off of it and keep the business running and just keep it going like a repetitive cycle. And yeah, just once you do that, you take the profits and the money you get from that one and you do the same thing and you do something else. And when you're trying to do multiple things, I like when I tell my friends when they're buying stocks and stuff like that, and they've asked me for advice, like, oh, I don't know where to do this and this. And a lot of them just stick to like the basic stuff, right? They'll be, oh, Tesla and Apple and all, you know what I'm saying? Yes, those are great to have. It's great to have Tesla stock. It's great to have stock in Apple. It's pretty basic because a lot of people do. So it's, if you're trying to look for an advantage, you're not really going to have one. But it is good to have. It does look good in your portfolio. It does show that you have, common sense when it comes to things. Because again, you use Apple products if you have an iPhone or a Mac or whatever. You go and you eat at McDonald's. You buy Foot Locker or Fila or whatever the fuck, things like that you use consistently. You buy into it because yes, if you buy into it, of course, and you wear it all the time, why wouldn't you have stock in it? And it's some way, shape, or form that money comes back to you, right? But the way that I like to look at it is not only just like that, but also in the way of services and goods, or goods and services or whatever, right? What else do people use every day? What do they need every day? You know what I'm saying? So I look at those things. For example, everyone, or at least not every day, every week, or how many times a month or whatever, more likely than not, every week, every other week, or at least once a month, everyone goes to get a haircut. So you invest in a barbershop, right? Whether you're male or female, you go to get a haircut, you go to get a shape up. Girls go to get their hair done, clipped, straightened, curled, dried, washed, whatever. They go to get their hair done. Everyone does, right? Another thing, clothes. Everyone has clothes, right? Everyone wears clothes. You can start a clothing line. If you don't want to start a clothing line, everyone wears clothes, and they wear clothes every day, and it gets dirty. Get a laundromat. Get yourself a laundromat. Other than a laundromat, what's something else that people consistently use that'll make for good money to keep, money flowing in? Food. Everybody eats. So you invest in something with food. You have a business in food. You have a deli. You have a grocery store. You have a food truck. Do something with food. So I always think of things like that when it comes to, I don't know why my throat is killing me. I always think of things like that when it comes to investing your money into something that's going to make it multiply, and that you can just take the profits from that, reinvest, and keep going, right? So that's what I would do. And that's my advice for anybody else, that if you were to try and start something, that's where I would start. And it doesn't mean that you have to go and have a specific laundromat. You could do something that's just in that area. It's just an idea. People are always washing their clothes. People are always eating every day. People are always, they got to go from one place to another. People always wear clothes. People always need to wash clothes. People, like, it's all those basic things that, you know, people do consistently, look into it. You know, and just like in stocks, when you go to get stocks, don't always just get the basic stuff. Look into healthcare. Everyone has healthcare insurance and stuff. Look into technology when it comes to technology. Look into stuff for laptops. Look into stuff for people that are doing things with solar power. Look into food. Look into grocery stores. You can get stocks into certain grocery stores. Like, look into that. Look into farms. You know what I mean? You want to get into properties and things like that, but you can't afford to invest or put money down on a house and all that stuff. Go into REITs. REITs are stocks that are stocks that represent realty. Is it not realty? Is it realty? Yeah, realty companies or realty agencies or something like that. But they basically, it's like a stock portfolio of a list of apartments, places, complexes, whatever it is. And instead of you just buying one, you're buying a stock portfolio of REITs of multiple properties that you get a percentage of. No different of you getting a percentage of when you buy stocks into Apple and things like that. That's how all these other insurance companies or real estate agencies and stuff, that's how they get money for things. Also, they sell stocks. So it's things like that that I learned over time. You know, at first I just did the basic stuff, and then the more and more you talk to other people who actually have experience in it, they'll tell you those little things, and those little things make a difference. Another thing is also, when you're investing in something, especially stocks, always make sure that you're doing something with dividends. Dividends will always make sure that you're getting paid. Even if it's a small amount, you're getting some money back regardless of what period. But that's just like in stocks. And I'm not a stock expert or nothing, but again, it's little things that I learned myself that when I put that into practice, it helped. It worked. I saw benefits from it. I saw something that was progress. I moved forward. It moved me a notch up, you know. So why not help the next person? Yeah, I started doing it many years ago or whatever, but at the same time, maybe it's not the same for everyone right now. But there's ups and downs with anything, and just do proper research. I don't mean to get too deep into it, but I just wanted to make sure that I touched on it. But that's what I would do with $1,776,000. I'd go in and I'd do that. I'd try to start some type of side business. Or just business in general. I try to provide a service, product, brand to solve someone's problem, you know, and have it in a way that I could repeat it continuously and have people keep coming back, giving them a great product that gives them a great, what was I going to say? A great solution to a problem with a great product and a great price. And that's what I would like to do for people if I had the opportunity. For clocking out, I want to do something. I just want to provide a great space that literally is nothing but just focused on people that truly put in effort and know what they're doing. You know, just because they didn't go to college and they got the diploma and they don't got, you know, the $1 million office and all this stuff like that, or campaign, that doesn't mean that they're not talented and they don't know what they're doing. I want to focus on the people who actually lose sleep because they focus so much on the craft or what it is that they're putting out there. And you know, I feel like clocking out is going to help that, and I definitely feel like many people could benefit from that, whether you're the creative person or the other person looking for the creative person. Let's go to segment 2, because we are half an hour in, or more than a half hour in. Clocking out confessions. All right, I don't know how this is going to go. What is the dumbest reason you almost quit your creative hustle? One of the dumbest reasons I almost quit my creative hustle was a girl. And I don't mean just one specific girl. I mean just in general. Sometimes I'll be in like this. It's even now. I'm doing live streaming and stuff. I'm talking to this girl. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. And as guys, when we have a very attractive female, there's certain things that we try to hold back because we feel like we'll be judged by it. You know, we can look a certain way, but if we say or do something or just express ourselves in a certain way that's not deemed okay or manly to a female, we lose a lot of points. And then we go from looking like macho man to what the fuck am I doing? Why am I here? I don't want to talk to this guy again. And that makes us hold back. That makes us put on this facade and stuff. Now, I know a lot of people listen to this. Oh, fuck that. I'm not like that. I'm me all the time. Okay. All right, big guy. But in all honesty, that's not the truth. We always find that one person that we tend to forget, and we let our guard down, and it's because we're not thinking. We're just so comfortable around them. We forget that we have that act or we have that thing where we constantly think about what we're saying, how we're moving and everything like that, where it's not taken as a sign of weakness or taken as a joke, or that it's going to be used against us later on in a way to, like, you get what I'm saying? And I feel like men are always thinking of that. We're always looking to see who's going to be the next person to judge us or question us or something like that in some way, or some way, shape, or form, when it comes to being a man. And the reason I say that is because there's certain things about podcasting, live streaming, vlogging, content creating, that a lot of people, not just females in general, but just a lot of people would tend to find embarrassing or a joke or not serious and or childish. You get what I'm saying? And I understand it. But as a creator and normally being an independent music artist and just liking to create in general, um, it gets hard to express yourself more freely when you get older. Because again, like when you're starting off, a lot of it is that you're young, you're free, you're not thinking too much, you know, you're just expressing yourself. And then the more and more time goes on, you start realizing that you're older, you start realizing you can't really talk about the same things or do the same things and act the same way you did when you were younger. So it's like right now, a lot of these live streamers have it easy. They have live streaming. They have all this, like, that's really like the world right now. It's not really about the TV no more. Before, everything was like about TV and, you know, the scheduled network programming and things like that. It's not like that no more. Now it's just like, if you have enough content to put out there where people can keep scrolling, and no matter what, they can't help but come across your stuff, you can win. Like that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're talented. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad. It doesn't matter if you know what the fuck you're talking about or not. If you have enough time to create content and put it out there, because everybody and their mother has a cell phone. If you can manage to put out enough content that no matter whether they go on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Threads, it doesn't matter, that you show up in some way, shape, or form, even just once, whether it's a picture, a video, a post, or something like that. You're gonna go viral. You're gonna go, because they're gonna see you. You're seen consistently, and they just can't. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?" And they're gonna come across your stuff one way or another, and that's all it is. It's just like a domino effect, and then other people get the same thing, and then it go, like, you know. So whether you're bad or not, it's gonna put you in a position where you're gonna have to make more, and the more that you make, the more you're gonna learn, the better you're gonna get at it, whether you like it or not. There's no way in hell that you're gonna do something consistently on a daily basis, back to back, every day, and not get better at it and become a fucking beast. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, I feel sorry. When it comes to that, you know, the one of the dumbest reasons was a girl. You know what I mean? Every time I talk to a girl or something, I feel like I'm going to embarrass them, or whether it's family, girl, whatever. I always feel like I'm going to embarrass someone through association of what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do. And they're going to look at it like, you know, this guy, that's your boyfriend, that's your friend, that's your brother, that's your dad, that's your son, your cousin, your homeboy. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, because nothing stops me just from going online and seeing me just have these conversations to myself. Like, yeah, I'm not doing anything embarrassing, like jumping and juggling eggs and shit and doing these challenges and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'm putting myself out there, and anyone can take anything I'm saying, whether it's the image, the words that I'm saying, the audio, and flip. With the way technology is now, they can make videos of me saying shit that I'm not even saying, or doing things that I'm not doing, just based off a screenshot. You know, so just putting yourself out there, whether once or on a daily basis, you're really doing a lot to put yourself in a position where other people could do a lot. You know, and when you put it that way, it makes you think, and it puts like an extra responsibility on you to make sure that you think before you act, and you remember that, you know, the internet is forever. Anyone at any point could come on and find anything about you from God knows what time, you know. And with the more time that goes on, the better these search engines and AI stuff like gets. Like, it's not going to downgrade. They're just going to find you faster, find more crap that you're trying to hide. So there's no hiding. You got to be you. You know, because at the end of the day, your girlfriend or your homeboy or your work, they're going to find out, man. And it's not because they're trying to be nosy. A lot of the times that's not it. They're going to find out because they care about you and they're trying to, learn more about you or support you or whatever it is. And it comes out. You know what I mean? There's only so long you can put on that facade that you're not doing nothing, or that, your life isn't interesting, or you don't have anything going on, or it's going to slip out at one point or another, whether it's through conversation, whether it's through your actions, or, they're going to find out what you're really up to. So if you're a creative person, you got a podcast, whether you're working on an album, whether you got a clothing line, you're cooking, you're trying to do a food truck thing, or whatever it is you're trying to do, you buy pallets from Amazon and you flip it, just be upfront. You know what I mean? If you take it seriously, I feel like people will respect you and who you are and what you're doing if you take it seriously. But if you just talk about it a lot and you fake the funk and you're just saying it for show, that's going to fuck you up. Don't say that you're hustling or that you're doing this and this when really you ain't fucking doing shit. You get what I mean? And but yeah, that's one of the dumbest reasons, because I realize whether it's a female, a friend, or even a random person, I shouldn't be changing who I am or what makes me happy for nobody. You know what I mean? So now I do it. The girl that I'm talking to now, she knows I do it. I hope she doesn't tune in yet, because I feel like this is still building back up to what it used to be. Of course, just like anybody else, you don't want someone to come check out your live stream or your content and have nobody be active and nothing going on. And then you're like, fuck, I'm a loser. And then every time you mention something, they just have that one experience that they have. And they're like, yeah, I'm sure it's fucking great. You know what I'm saying? So there's little things like that I think about and I worry about. But then when I look at it, as far as if you really do the research and you really go on and you see how much content I put out, how many podcast episodes I did, how many conversations with how many different people I've had. And, you could see from what it was when I first started posting and recording and all that to what it is now. And for someone who would actually care, you would see the progress. And in my mind, they would respect it. And that's all that I would ask for. Yeah, you can make fun of me if you want here and there. That's cool. That's fine. I could take a joke. I got thick skin and I'm not worried about it. But I'm always worried about people who are associated with me being bullied, being made fun of. That bothers me, because I know that I could take it, but I would never ask or want anyone that I love or care about to deal with any type of judgment or harassment or jokes or anything like that to make them feel any comfortable at any time, period, in their life because of me. I wouldn't want that. What's a cringe side hustle you actually tried or almost did? There's a few. There's a few. I'm not gonna lie. One that I did, it wasn't bad. It was just one client. I guess it was a bad experience. Someone hooked me up with this whole thing that they were doing, and they were making money off of it. I was trying to learn. I bought a fancy camera for vlogging, and I was trying to learn how to just do proper things with video and all this stuff. And I was talking to this dude who I just looked at as a photographer, a videographer, because he's been doing it for years. He went to school for it and everything like that. So I was good advice from him. And he just told me flat out, like, bro, you just got to start posting up on Craigslist or on Facebook or whatever that you do photography, that you do videography, and that you'll do a music video or photo shoot for whatever price. And he goes, and if you don't feel comfortable enough to say a price, say you'll do it for free. He goes, but I'm telling you, it's better if you put a price, because it's a lot better than not putting a price. People will look at it like, okay, he does something at least. Because if you put nothing, it looks shady. And then on top of that, people really aren't going to trust what the results are going to be for free, So I tried it out, and it attracted some very funny fucking people. Mind you, they don't know what I look like. They don't know what I am. You know what I'm saying? That I could be an alien for all they know from the post. And the responses I got from some people, or the requests, it was out there. And what's crazy is a lot of the requests, again, no one knew what I was. I could have been Billy from fucking Venus with a fucking horn on my head or some shit. But a lot of them were females that were asking. And I don't know. And I kept looking back at the post that I had up, and I'm like, yo, nothing makes it seem like it's from a guy. Nothing says it's a guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, how, but I did get guys that were saying some crazy shit too. And again, they didn't know, but they were talking like they were talking to a female. And I didn't go back and forth with them, but it's just like the regular main intro messages and requests and questions, or like, it was just like, what the fuck? And a lot of them I passed up on, but there was one that sneaked through and made it seem like it was like this legitimate thing. And when I pulled up to the place, I'm like, yeah, nah. I just got bad vibes. I'm like, nah, if I go in here, I'm never leaving. I'm gonna end up in like some ditch having to put lotion in a bucket or something. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I got out of there. But yeah, that was like one of the most, because I looked at it like, yo, it's like really like taking pictures of it. But then I really, like, when I really thought about it afterwards, I'm like, yo, like what the fuck did I expect? Did I really think I was gonna get like people be like, yes, I have a wedding and I have a birthday party, and I attracted the freaks and the fucking monsters. But anyway, that was one of the cringiest things I did, or almost attempted. What's your biggest creative red flag that would make you fire yourself? One of my biggest creative red flags that would make me want to fire myself is my attitude. Sometimes I take things way too seriously and I just need to relax. And sometimes in moments of chaos, I take initiative, I take command, and I always try to do what's best. But again, I do know that I get a little bit too demanding or controlling, and if things don't go my way, I start flipping out. And it's not because it just has to go my way because it's the way I want it. It's because I feel like if things are in chaos and there's no one taking control to put things in order and make it less chaotic, and they have a plan like, all right, this is A, B, C, and D, and this is how we're gonna, you know what I mean? If I start doing it, shut the fuck up and let me finish. Don't jump in halfway like, oh, okay, nah, you didn't say nothing before, now I got it in my head. If you do anything to stop this fucking puzzle that I already put together in my head to make this happen, it's gonna fucking bug me the fuck out. I don't know if that's like some type of, but I'm literally one of those people. If I have something set and it's a plan and it's like, and in my head I already have it strategically laid out, and I start putting it into play, and it's like, don't fuck with me. Leave it the fuck alone. Let me finish it. Let me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the accountant, like Ben Affleck and the accountant. And the first one, when like every time he found the puzzle or something, or like he had problems with like doing the accountant stuff for the businesses, like he was good with numbers, but anytime someone interrupted or he couldn't finish, he'd lose his shit and it fucked up like his whole. That's the way it is with me. If I have a plan in my head and you see me like in focus mode and I'm doing things and I'm rambling on, going like this, and I'm not messing up, and I'm just, let me be. There's a method to the madness. Let it be. But don't try to jump in and think you're helping by telling me, no, we're going to do this and this. Fucking flip the fuck out. I'm going to be like, where the fuck was you in the beginning when no one was doing nothing and we were trying to figure out what the fuck was going on? But now that I did all the hard part of thinking and making people stop and pay attention and line up and listen, now you want to jump in and nah, motherfucker. If you had that shit in you, you would have been able to make them motherfuckers shut the fuck up and line up and say, yes, sir. You know what I mean? So if I'm the one that starts putting order to chaos, you can't jump in. And that's one thing that I hate. But I also feel like that's something that's a flaw of mine, because sometimes it comes off like I know more than you, and that's not what I'm trying to say. It's just I'm very impatient, and if I see that there's a problem and I could fix it, all right, just let me fucking fix it and we'll do it. And then after we tried and I finished, fully complete my attempt, then all right, that's checked off, crossed, I'm done. Okay, now your turn. You know what I mean? But let me finish. That's my thing. You can try to fire me, whatever, but if you're going to fire me and you see that I'm doing things a little bit different or whatever, all right, cool. Just let me finish and let me show you that there was a reason for all this shit. It wasn't just random acts of stupidity. That's something I feel like would be a red flag to fire me. My short temper and being controlling, I guess, of situations. Describe your first ever attempt to make money on your own. How did you do it? My first attempt to make money on my own. The first time that I ever really made money was in middle school. It was Valentine's Day, and I rap songs. I write raps, and during Valentine's Day, it all started with this one kid who was a very popular dude, and a lot of females liked him. but apparently he just didn't have like that romantic thing. He out with a girl, and he was just the type of guy that would walk, and a girl would follow him around like a puppy dog, but like he didn't know how to like have a girlfriend. He never flirted or nothing. And one day I was practicing my rhymes, going to tech, and this kid, was it middle school, high school, something like that. But anyway, this kid heard me in my rhymes or whatever, and he liked a few lines, and then he was trying to like write them down, and I guess he couldn't remember what I said. So in class, he came up to me, he goes, listen, I was trying to steal some words I heard you say that sounded real nice that I could say to this girl that I'm talking to and I'm trying to date. He goes, but I can't remember what you said. You said something like this. So then I told him the line. I was, you know what? I got you something even better, because that's from a song of mine. I don't, I was real like stingy with my lyrics. And I was like, I don't want you to put it out there. I was just testing something out. I didn't know no one was listening to me. I was like, but I got you. So I wrote him something. And it wasn't Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day was going to be the next day. That's what it was. So I wrote him something, and then we were in tech. The girls in the class wanted to help him out too, so they made him a card and all fancy and shit like that, and they wrote the lyrics on it, and they made it look nice. And he went and he gave it to the girl. The next day he came, he's like, bro, I'm good. She loves it. She thinks it's me, and blah blah blah. So then he wanted another one, so I gave him another one. But then he gave me $5 or $10 or something. I think it was like $10 he gave me for writing the second one. And then when he gave me the $10 for writing that, and I wrote it for him, the people around saw it, and they were like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what was that for? What do you give him? I was like, nah, I just made him something. And they read it. They're like, oh, that's dope. Then they read the other one. They sold it. Like, yo, I'll give you $10 also. I'll give you 15. This was on Valentine's Day. That's when I realized and I learned. I'm like, all right, I actually have something I could provide to solve a problem for people on Valentine's Day. And I know it's going to be on high demand, because there's not many people that'll be willing, one, to do that, to give up words, rhymes, whatever, bars, or that would be willing to do it for someone else. And I was writing some good shit. And so I wrote a bunch of like on like little cue cards or whatever the fuck. I wrote like a bunch of like rhymes, like a few bars and stuff like that, depending on what they gave me. And then I drew a little picture on it also and shit, like, whatever, just to like make it a little nice. And but yeah, and then I sold those for like $10 to $15 each. And on Valentine's Day, I'm like, yo, why? Like, I kept trying to do it even past Valentine's Day, but I noticed it didn't work. It was just Valentine's Day that people really wanted to do that. And then every once in a blue, I'd have someone come up to me like, yo, I got to get something nice for my girl. Like, you want to write me something? They didn't have no money. They didn't want to go buy no flowers or nothing. They're like, maybe if I just write her a poem, or I'm like, look, I'll write you a rap. I'll give you a few bars. And you know what I'm saying? You just say it was you, just rehearse it in case she asks you to say it without reading the card or something like. But that situation, that was my first time that I ever like made money off of something that wasn't like just a regular job, that it hit me like, yo, I'm getting paid for this shit, like. And I thought it was dope. And I was actually getting paid. Like, I knew I could get paid through music. I knew I can get paid through like hustling or doing something else. But that was the first thing that I actually did without actually really trying to do it, that it just happened. And when I got paid, it's like in the movies when you see someone get paid and they're like, oh shit, like you really just paid me? And it clicks to them like, oh, like. So I did that for as long as I could. It literally only lasted a few days. When it was one Valentine's Day, the second day after, for the people that forgot to do stuff for Valentine's Day. So I was doing a whole bunch of like sorry shits. And then after that, it was like, I think it was like they had the Valentine's Day dance or something that was after Valentine's Day. It was like a week after or some shit. So then that helped me because it stretched it out. But then I learned a hard lesson. I invested a lot of time and energy in writing a whole bunch of more cards, thinking like, yo, I just have these set up for like the next 2 or 3 weeks. And business just died. And I'm like, what the fuck? So now I learned another lesson. The only reason it was picking up was because of Valentine's Day. And it lasted the day after because people fucked up on Valentine's Day, needed to say sorry. And then, so that helped me put a lot of things in perspective. And I learned from that firsthand experience, which I'm grateful for. All right. So I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to get out of here. I had 2 more segments, but it's a lot more questions. We'll probably finish that the next time. All right. So if someone made a 4th of July movie about your life, and your hustle, what would it be called? No, 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 no. Hold on. Hold on. I like this one better. If someone made, I got changed. If someone made a 4th of July movie about your life hustle and it's called Independence Day, what's the plot? All right. So the plot would be me hustling out of that 9 to 5 to be independent. Right. But it would be like the most craziest movie because it would be so many obstacles and things happening to stop me. Like, let's say I'm going to that one job or that one side hustle that I booked to make that money that I need to really start my business or my product or my brand or my project, whatever it is. And then left and right, I got people stopping me. My boss is saying I can't leave work. He needs me to stay late, and that's making me change the appointment. Or I got to go to my kid's school event, which is making me change my schedule around and everything. So I'm there for them. Or I got a best friend of mine who I haven't seen in a while, and he can't come to visit. And he feels like if I don't see him this time, he's that's it. He's never going to talk to me again after 25 years of friendship. And that same day, I have a meeting with a CEO of a company that wants to sponsor my idea or project, or, I do something like that in a movie. I'd make the movie seem like no matter what, it was going to be impossible for me to make my dream come true. But the main focus would be that I would never give up, and I'd always come up with a solution one way or another, or that solutions would just happen just from me just trying and putting effort into it, like some Jack Sparrow shit. You know, Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, how shit just happens and he ends up magically getting out of scenarios and it looks like he barely even tries. It's just luck. It would be situations like that, because in real life, situations like that have happened. I feel like I believe in God so much that he's got me out of situations just out of love that I can't explain how or why that they happened, or, why I'm okay or even here today. Like, that I would like to incorporate that into the movie as well somehow, so that people have that sign of belief as well, not only just in themselves, but in the spirit of God, and just believing and knowing that there's someone out there that no matter how many times you fail and what you do out of spite, that you don't know any better, you have someone who will not judge you, who will always love you, who will forgive you, who will accept you as you are. And I feel like that's important to learn. I feel like a lot of us get caught up in this whole thing of wanting to be perfect and wanting to create something that's going to last and leaving a mark that will be here forever, even after we're gone. That we're too heavy on ourselves and we judge ourselves too much, or we compare ourselves too much. And in all honesty, we're none of us are going to be perfect. But at the end of the day, I posted this up earlier too, so it's perfect. As like J. Cole said, there's no life that is better than yours. There's no such thing. So enjoy the life that you have, appreciate it, put effort into it to make it the best life that you can have, because it's the only one you're going to have. So if there's anything that comes across your mind that you feel like would add value to your life, that will make you happy or bring more joy to your life and peace, and just bring more value to anyone's life in your life, family, friends, loved ones, whatever it is, just don't hold back. Just do it. Even if it's just a thought, just give it a try. Give it a try. Talk about it. Write it on paper, write it down, talk about it with your friends and anyone that you care about. Like, I thought about this and I've been thinking about this, and put it out there, put it out into the universe, man. You'd be surprised. All right. Well, we've been streaming for an hour. I had a late run. I should have started at 7. I started like around 7:30. So, but I did the hour. I told myself I was going to do it. I hope everyone had a great and safe 4th of July. We're going to finish the rest of these. I'm going to try to finish these tomorrow during my break, if I can. Because I do want to hit the other ones. I think they'd make for great little clips and stuff. But anyway, yes. So everyone, thank you. Sophie, thank you so much for coming and kicking it with us. I truly appreciate it. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't get you upset and have you think I was like, brushing you off or anything like that. That wasn't the case. I'm still learning kick I'm still early to kick. I'm still new. So sometimes there's a lot of people that come on kick and I get surprised because all of them just want to kick it in here, but then they're all trying to pitch me something and it gets discouraging sometimes. But thank you, Sophie, for coming and kicking it with us. Sophie, if you have the time, please check out clockinout.net, right? Now, I'm not trying to sell you nothing, but on that homepage, if you go to the bottom, there's a form that you can fill out and you'll be able to claim a POAP. All right. I want to make sure that you get the POAP. I don't know how Kick works. If you follow me or you follow Clocking Out on any social media platform, I'm not sure if you can message on Kick or not, but if you can, send me a message or I'll try to find you and I'm going to send you something. I want to make sure that you get a POAP. I hope that you know what POAPs are. If not, I'll be happy to teach you about it. And yeah, everybody else who participated last week and who claimed, thank you very much. Be sure to participate and get active this week. Claim. Giveaway is going to be great at the end of this month. Only one will be chosen unless more people get active. The more active people, maybe I'll choose more than one winner and we'll do more than one raffle. This has been another episode of Clocking Out. I love y'all. This is day 4 of the consistent streaming. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night. Love y'all. Stay safe. Peace.